Thanks for your interest in the future of the library. I'm Dan Weiss, and I've been the director here for close to 20 years now. Over that time, I've developed a real affection for this town that's been such a wonderful place for me to work. And as the director of this library, it's my responsibility, among many other things, to ensure that we meet the current needs of residents and to plan for the future. And so the board and I listened to what we were hearing from you, the residents of Fanwood, and with input from the mayor and council, we have developed a vision of our library that responds to the needs expressed by the community. A vision that transforms challenges into opportunities, a vision that can take us into the future. A vision that will attract even more families to our town because it emphasizes childhood literacy, advances in technology, community engagement. And it's a vision that retains our core values and the essence of what people already love about this library, our small town feel and the personal service. Our vision for a better library began almost 20 years ago. We became concerned when the internet exploded with information and entertainment, and we lacked the hardware and software to keep up. When the basement flooded for the third time in 5 years. When our outdoor lift failed and parents pushing strollers and others couldn't get access to the lower level in the children's department. When programs began attracting overflow crowds and left seniors standing. So ideas for improvements fell into three main categories: infrastructure, access, and space. But before going any further, maybe you're wondering whether libraries are still relevant, or if new technologies are making the library obsolete, or even if we need a library at all anymore. But I can tell you that here at the Fanwood Library, use continues in a strong upward trend, and we are busier than ever. Just last month, in a July 4th article, the New York Times noted that far from becoming irrelevant in the digital age, libraries around the nation are thriving by doing the very things that we're doing here in Fanwood, adjusting hours to community needs, hiring more librarians, and adding to our longtime repertoire of summer reading clubs and traditional programming by expanding the catalog of services and programs we offer to include things like coding classes, maker spaces, help with job hunting, and more. And here at the Fanwood Library, we had over 42,800 visitors through our doors in 2015, a 10% increase over the past 5 years. We circulated 44,000 items. Our redesigned website was viewed over 45,000 times. Ebook and audiobook circulation rose a dramatic 48% just since last year, with over 2,300 checkouts by Fanwood cardholders. We served up over 1,300 individual free Wi-Fi sessions, and over 9,000 library users of all ages attended more than 365 distinct programs and events. But there are challenges, and as we analyzed them in depth, we noted that no other public building in Fanwood is open longer or serves more people for more hours in any given week than your library. And this volume of usage has taken a heavy toll on both the original building from 1951, built just after World War II as a memorial to our returning vets, and the 1980 edition. And that level of usage continues to climb. Despite some fixes, the lower level is still prone to wetness and flooding. The HVAC is problematic and difficult to control effectively, which especially affects the lower level. The building is terribly energy inefficient. We've got a leaky roof and problems with the exterior, and the wiring is hopelessly inadequate to accommodate the kinds of electronic devices we all now use. So let's take a look at some of that. Here's our tech center and phone system down in the somewhat wet basement furnace room. Here's another view of our networking hub. This is our HVAC system. Here's what we have to do to accommodate people that need to plug in more than one thing. And here's how we tried to deal with the electrical outlet situation in 2012 during Hurricane Sandy. Here's our somewhat failing roof and a couple of views of our leaky ceiling. The siding on the exterior isn't faring very well. There's exterior rot, and we've got critters living in our rafters. Here's the atrium, which covers the emergency exit from the children's department, and you can see the condition of it. And a couple of other shots of the siding. These are cracks in our main front entry stairs, and the brick is beginning to crumble. And another crack down near the exit door in the children's department in the basement. And without an elevator, the building denies lower level access not just to individuals in wheelchairs, but to anyone with a mobility issue. Parents with strollers and toddlers, someone who might be just temporarily disabled, or anyone who might have trouble with our steep, narrow staircase. The building fails to offer students and others a place to collaborate on projects, and users of all ages quiet places to read or study or be tutored. This building fails to accommodate meetings for many of our local organizations, and even worse, it consistently fails to meet fire department occupancy regulations during overflow programs. Here's our only small, somewhat inaccessible downstairs program space. And these are kids making do upstairs in the main area of the library for our weekly makerspace programming. Here's an overcrowded program where we ran out of seats. And another great program for kids that we had to have in the main area since we have no other place to put them. We do have a nice front lawn that we make use of, but if it rains, we're in trouble because we have nowhere to bring it on the inside. So in order to transform these challenges into opportunities, and as a response to what you've asked for, we developed this vision. A vision that is ADA compliant, dynamically designed, efficient, sustainable, and one that we believe is cost effective and delivers a substantial return on investment. It's a plan for a vital community asset that will serve the borough effectively and a library that the town will be proud of for decades to come. Our vision calls for improvements in infrastructure, access and space for all visitors, young children, tweens and teens, families, adults, seniors, community groups. An improved building means upgrades in infrastructure, the roof, energy and HVAC efficiency, wetness issues, plumbing, and improved ADA compliant bathrooms and other spaces. Visitors will no longer have to sit in hot spots or ice cold rooms, and upgrades in IT and wiring will enable students, business people here on site or working from home, and groups to access the internet and use their electronic devices efficiently. The plan, of course, calls for an elevator that makes all levels of the library accessible to all users, regardless of age or ability. So the kids move up, and parents with strollers gain access to kids' materials and spaces. Kids have more room to explore the collections and places to play. Authors and other presenters have more space to engage their young audiences in early literacy programs and story times. And with the children's department on the same level as the adult library, parents can pursue their own library activities while the kids are still in view. Because schools and many families cannot keep up with the rapid changes in technology, young adults often learn how to navigate these new technologies from each other. The plan calls for a separate, supervised, fully wired, and safe space for teens and tweens. In this dedicated space, they can learn about new apps, gather to study and to collaborate on projects, access their Google accounts, or just hang out and play. They'll have the wiring, the space, and the equipment to develop their own PowerPoint presentations, videos, music recordings, and more. Adults will find quiet, comfortable seating with improved access to computers. Increased life expectancy means more active lives for seniors. They want to communicate with family and friends and use the internet and mobile devices, but many need assistance and practice to keep up with advances in technology. This new space will offer them the tools and the services they're looking for. The space offers entrepreneurs, telecommuters, and home-based business owners a place to recharge, tap into databases, do research, and connect and meet with partners and peers. Flexible programming space has been added to meet the ongoing demands and needs of the community and the library. It's a space that can be divided and subdivided to accommodate more than one group at a time, and will contain all the wiring and technology necessary for large and small groups of any age to meet, enjoy programs or crafts, and more. These are just a few examples of the ways that this space might be utilized by the library and the community. There could be a Game of Thrones fandom tournament on one side while our knitting group plies their craft on the other. Or a post-story time activity for preschoolers could be in full swing while seniors enjoy an afternoon bag lunch movie. And in a world where information and technology are everywhere, opportunities to unplug may become even more essential, benefiting both professional and personal experiences. With the children's department upstairs, the lower level now opens up for book stacks, study carols, tables for reading and quiet contemplation. It encourages quiet study for students and researchers, safe and non-distracting space for tutoring, and more efficient staff areas. So we understand there are many questions, and that this is a significant undertaking for the borough, and we don't take that lightly. And we're aware that at this point, you're probably asking yourself, what will this cost? How will we pay for it? What will the impact be on me as a taxpayer? First, as you might be aware, since 2011, every New Jersey property tax owner's bill now includes a separate line item labeled library tax. It's not a new tax, it just describes the part of your taxes that have always gone to support the library. Take a look, and you'll see that for the average Fanwood taxpayer, the amount of your property taxes that do go to the library is a very small proportion of your total bill, just under 2%, or in the neighborhood of about $200 a year. For this project, the library and the board are committed to aggressively pursuing alternative funding options to try and minimize the impact on taxpayers. And while it's not really possible to effectively explore any of these options before an actual project is in place, some possibilities for outside funding include grants, energy tax credits, federal and state funding related to the ADA and energy portions of the project, and a vigorous capital campaign. There's also a bill currently pending in Trenton called New Jersey Library Construction Bond Act, NJA 222, which, if passed, could finance up to 50% of public library capital projects. And of course, we're hoping that that bill gets some real traction. So our architect has estimated the cost of this project at $3 million. And for every $1 million that is spent, the cost to each household would be approximately $30 more in taxes per year, but only for a period of 15 years. And so for $3 million, it would be 3 times that, or about $90 per year per household over those 15 years. And so combined, the two levels offer what we believe to be a sound response to the community's requests for improved infrastructure, access, and space for now and into the future. We believe this plan champions childhood literacy, it supports home-based business and those who work from home and those who are looking for work, and improves technology access and support for everyone. It's a 21st century library that delivers a substantial return on investment of your tax dollar, because it reflects the values, the needs, and the expectations and the pride of our community. It is consistent with libraries in similar-sized towns, and it will support growth and changing Fanwood demographic in decades to come. I want to thank you for your interest in the library, and just take a moment before we wrap up here to walk you through a bit of the design that you've been looking at. So the light yellow area in the upper level is the existing space. And just above that, wrapping around 2 sides, the darker yellow area is the new hallway that includes the elevator, and around the corner on the wall, a gallery space for local artists to display their work. The blue area to the right is the multi-purpose room and includes the ADA compliant bathrooms. And the blue area on the top out towards North Avenue is the new children's department On the lower level, not much space has been added really, just the lower part of the elevator and stairs, but the layout, as we said, allows for better reorganization and use of the space. So again, thank you for your time in watching this presentation. If you have any questions or comments, we welcome them, and I encourage you to get in touch with me at the library anytime, by phone or by email, or just stop in and say hi.